Hey, movie fans, and welcome back to another episode of the Uncharted Media Podcast. This is episode 182. The Stranger Things Season 4, Volume 2 will be dropping this Friday, and I feel like that's all I'm seeing on my social media feed in a rare bit of good marketing from Netflix. Wow, what a shocker. So that's what we're going to talk about this week. No real structure to the discussion. We're just going to shoot it when it comes to Stranger Things. Our overall thoughts on the show, general predictions for the finale, who we think's gonna live, who we think's gonna die, the future of the show, what we'd like, what we don't like, just a general Stranger Things discussion, because capitalize on that search engine optimization, so hopefully some of that overwhelming Stranger Things fan base finds us for this. But Josh, how you doing tonight?
I'm chilling like a villain, my dude. Ain't got much going on besides work and reading. I'm plowing through a book, and it's I'm in the back third of it, and it is, gosh, it's hard to put down. Like last night, I think I was up to like 1:30 reading, and then like literally right before we got on to this, I was like, I have like 10 minutes. I got enough for another like few paragraphs. I gotta keep going. So it's held my attention.
So you've been watching anything or just reading straight through?
I've been reading a lot, but unfortunately, Fantastic Beasts is Where to Find Them and The Secrets of Dumbledore is on HBO Max. And my dad was like, hey, let's watch it. And I was like, I mean, I'm going to have to watch it eventually, I guess. So
you didn't have to watch it at all.
I mean, I know, but like, there's a part of me that like wants to know what's happening. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's a thing that happens. It's a thing. It's both visually stunning and bland at the same time, which I don't understand how they do that. The bits that are the most charming are all of the bits with Newt and animals, and the rest of it's kind of forgettable. And they definitely tried to do something like like a bait and switch. I got you, but like at the same time, it's kind of like, all right, sure, whatever.
So what you're saying is not good.
Yeah,
Better than Crimes of Grindelwald?
See, but like Crimes of Grindelwald had that awesome opening scene with Johnny Depp and like him doing all the cool magic stuff. But like, I'd say, yeah, at the end of it, I appreciate that they finally, instead of skirting around it, open it with Dumbledore confessing the love thing. Instead, like, it's one of those, like, we all know it's there, but so they finally say it, but then like they don't really acknowledge it really at the rest of the movie, so it's kind of there.
It's just lip service and lip service alone.
It's like, all right, guys, we did it. See, now like leave us alone so we can move on.
So I watched two very, very different movies.
Oh yeah.
The first one I watched is a horror movie from, I believe it was either 2019 or 2020, The Night House on HBO Max. It's in the same vein as The Babadook, kind of like a woman just lost her husband and spooky things start happening in the lakefront house that she lives on.
Love it.
You need to watch it. But if you do it like I did. Watch it super late at night with your headphones on, because the audio mixing on this movie is like on par with The Strangers in terms of like, I don't like this. Without saying spoilers, it almost lost me at the end, but with the way that they actually wrap it up, I'm like, okay, this is still ambiguous enough that it's up for interpretation as to what's actually happening. It's great. Got great cinematography, and a lot of the good scares in this come from cinematography. There's a couple parts that I absolutely jumped. As a whole, pretty good. Now, on the complete flip side, I'm gonna need the audience not to judge me, because I was just kind of bored. I was just like, I've heard about this movie, and I feel like I just need to turn my brain off and watch something. Stan Helsing. Have you heard of this one, Josh?
I don't think I have. It's one of those, it sounds familiar, but I can't place it anywhere.
It's like this stupid, like a disaster movie, epic movie type with Stan Helsing, a like stoner burnout that's like an ancient descendant of Van Helsing, apparently. Is it good? Absolutely not. Did I laugh a couple times? I'd be lying if I said I didn't. This is the type of movie that when we watch stupid stuff in college, this is something we would have watched. Like, were you there with us? Was it like FDR, American Badass, or something like that? And it was like, where it was like Franklin Delano Roosevelt was secretly like a playboy, like gun-toting superhero type of story.
What
and it had
in
like
the world?
It was the most bizarre story. I'd be lying if I said I didn't laugh a couple times in this. Is there the stupid like parody movie fart humor, poop humor from time to time? Absolutely. But at the same time, I will give credit where credit is due, and that there's actually some very clever homages to other horror properties. Some very on the nose because they think their audience is stupid. Others are actually surprisingly well done, whether it's like copying cinematography verbatim or like they run out of a building, like a bar or something, and the bar is called Carpenter's, a reference to John Carpenter. I'm going, okay, that's your movie's still stupid, very stupid, but you did some stuff right. There's a couple jokes in there that I was like, okay, that's actually funny. And then obviously because it's a mid-2000s comedy, you have to have some low-hanging fruit with Michael Jackson jokes, like the easy stuff. But also it's always entertaining to watch those movies, those type of movies, the parody movies, no matter how good or how bad they are, because they're such a time capsule of the era. And that was just like flashback to, oh yeah, that was a thing, wasn't it?
Oh gosh, I feel that. I feel that in my bones. There was like, because my mom is still making her way through Gilmore Girls, and there's a lot of references they make in that show that I'm very much like, oh, dude, I haven't thought about that in forever. Also, I caught my mom looking at episode descriptions of the final season, and I was like, you stop it. Like, she's the kind of lady that like, she will read a book and it'll start to get really good, and she's like, I gotta know how it ends, and we'll flip to the last page, find out how it ends, and then go back to reading the rest of the book. And I was like, what?
See,
what? Why?
My mom is not that bad. She just has to know that it's got a happy ending. If you just tell her, okay, it's got a happy ending, she'll be on board. But she has to have that happy ending.
Yeah.
Like, there's great movies out there. She did not like Infinity War the first time we watched it because they don't win. I'm going, they have to lose now in order to win down the road type of thing. She just has to have a happy ending. But yeah, Heather and I have also had that with Smallville of like, oh, the 2000s were a thing, weren't they?
Dude.
I remember there's one episode we watched it. They're just like, they're so proud of it. They're like, special musical guest, All American Rejects. And I'm going, the 2000s. Yeah.
Dude. I think they're still around, actually. They still tour every now and then. They haven't like made an album in forever, but like, yeah, they're still around.
Oh, so, Josh, you ready to get into the news?
Yeah. All right, guys, get ready for a rant.
Yeah, Josh is not far off, but it might not be as rant-filled as you think. But for you guys at home, I will try to live up to what I'm sure all of you are expecting me to go off on with this. And that is Mr. Clean, Bob Idiot himself, Bob Chapek, the CEO of Disney that he's trying to run into the ground, has a new contract and will be the CEO of the Disney company for the next 3 years on. And I'm just going, the sad thing is, literally everyone outside of the board wants him gone, but the board of directors is so far with their head in the sand that they do not see the problem. They're just like, oh yeah, he's doing a great job, as literally the granddaughter of Roy Disney is mounting a rally to try and get this man fired. The board's going, that's just a blip on the radar. We have faith in him. I'm going, so you don't care about the company that you're on the board for. Got it. If this was like 2 or 3 weeks ago, my rant would be much more expletive laced and angry and just rage filled. And it's still, I feel it deep down, but I'm older now than my last Bob Chapek rant, so I'm tired, and I'm not surprised by this anymore. We had heard a few days ago that there was some meeting of the board happening, and there was whispers of him getting a contract renewal, because thank you, screw you, bye. Disney does not care what you think anymore. That's why I'm just like, as much as I want to rant on this topic, I'm tired. I don't care. This is a bad relationship all around of, if you're not going to try in this relationship, I'm not going to try either. I'm out. All right. That's how you want to do things? Like, I've been out for a while, but like...
Yeah.
But like, if Disney doesn't want us around anymore, I'm not sticking around. There's this great place down the street that's killing them. And also, you know, has a third park that they're building while Disney has yet to announce a new ride coming at all. Like, the Tron ride has been in development, I don't know, since before I got into college. Maybe it feels like it's been that long. But after that, they have no new rides announced that they're actively working on, whereas your competitor down the street has a whole freaking theme park that Josh will spend all his money on because How to Train Your Dragon will be there.
Well, yeah, obviously.
It's just like, I want to be mad at this, and I am. But just like, nothing surprises me with Bob Chapek anymore. Like, it's just all stupidity, one after the other, and the board are enablers. That's the word to describe them. They're enablers. They let him do stupid stuff. Do stupid stuff, get stupid prizes. That's what's happening here. Josh, you see Bob Idiot is getting renewed for 3 more years?
That just tells me that the board of directors only cares about money. Because from a money standpoint, he's bringing in quite a bit. But like,
he's also, the stock has plummeted under his watch.
Yeah, absolutely. So it kind of depends on where you're looking, I guess. But Mr. Bobby Chap, he's going to run the company into the ground. It is, I think, if I'm kind of like you, I'm mad, but I think I'm more disheartened because this was an opportunity. This was an opportunity for them to be like, you know what? We've seen his actions these past couple of year or so, and you know what? He's really just not what we envisioned as far as the future of Disney. So let's go ahead and move on from him and, you know, get somebody else in the chair. But with that was their opportunity. But now it's like, all right, cool. So I guess we'll wait another 3 years for them to, I don't know, disappoint us again by making the same decision and extending his contract. I hope that in 3 years, that because now the excuse of, oh, well, it was COVID is gone. So now he's got 3 years to like actually prove himself, actually do some good work. And you know what? I'm going to try to be as positive as I can with this. Maybe Chapek is going to surprise us. Maybe he turns things around and he starts being more artist focused and more. I say that and like I want to laugh at it because it's just so funny to think.
You mean the man that has yet to show up to a single movie premiere under his watch? He's not shown up to any of the Marvel ones. Yeah. You know, the one Pixar movie that he's released in theaters in his tenure. Also, oh boy, this will get me fired up for those people that have been waiting for the rant. So at the... Oh, balls. What's the most recent Marvel mediocre movie? Thor! Thor came out recently and they had their big red carpet debut. I guess I missed that there's a Chapek as a producer on Thor. Bob Chapek's son is a producer for Marvel. I'm going...
What?
Wow. Nepotism much? Like, the sad thing is, I didn't even have to see the name of the guy to know that he was a Chapek, because I could just see it in his face and go, oh, you are clearly Bob Chapek's son, because you have a punchable face. Like, I don't know how long this guy has been producer, but I'm just going, really? You're a producer at Marvel when your dad just happens to be the CEO of Disney, the company that runs Marvel? Really?
Ugh.
But, like, the problem is, and has always been from day one with Bob Chapek, whether it's him as CEO, whether it's him in charge of the parks, the man does not know how to take criticism, or work within a group setting. He's
Mm-hmm.
always been of the mindset that I am right and I'm in charge, which means you listen to what I say. And that was the exact opposite with Iger. Iger, there was times that he put his foot down of, I'm the boss, I'm in charge. And you need that. But at times he'd be like, okay, I defer this to you. You are what's best for this. You know what's the best thing to do here. You be in charge of this. Whereas Chapek is, I want it done a very specific way, and no, you cannot change my mind. But also, he's the king of cutting corners.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not going to blame Chapek for the decline in quality for Marvel, but I'll kind of blame him in a sense of we've rapidly ramped up how much Marvel stuff we get, and the quality, I think, is suffering because we've overexerted it. And also, not from just a storytelling perspective, but much has been made recently about the quality of the visual effects of quite a few Disney projects lately, and I would not be surprised at all if he's responsible for that, of once again cutting corners. Say what you will about the Obi-Wan series, I thought the finale was okay, but there was quite a few moments in the finale that I audibly kind of winced, going, oh, that's your finished CG there? Or
Yeah.
people have pointed out a little bit in the Thor Love and Thunder trailer, some footage that's come out of like, we filmed this using the volume from Mandalorian, going, yeah, it kind of looks like you filmed this on a green screen, which is not what you want from the volume. It's just, if there's any bright light to this, it's that it's only a 3-year contract. It's not like a 10-year contract, which I'm getting the vibe that executives run on 3-year contracts, because I think it was like a year, maybe last year or earlier this year. Time after 2020, time is just a weird thing. The Kathleen Kennedy's contract got extended for 3 years when everyone was calling for her head. So maybe executive contracts are a 3-year thing. I'm surprised that they didn't say, we'll extend your contract for a year. You have a year. You are on thin ice with us as is. Because I checked the Disney stock. When he took over, it was at about $1.50 a share. Now it's in double digits. It's almost plummeted. And I'm going, yeah, this guy's not good for business here. It's, I want to be mad. I'm just tired. I'm tired of this.
Yeah.
Like,
it just, yeah, like you said, just tired. It's hard because there's some stories here with that Marvel's putting out that on paper I found very, very interesting and I was very excited for. But like, No Way Home was the last good Marvel movie we've had post Infinity War and Endgame. So it's like,
so
all right, what are we doing here?
On the Marvel side, just a thought I had. We're clearly building up to Secret Wars, right? It is going to be expensive to get some of these actors back if we're going to bring back potentially Chris Evans or Robert Downey Jr., or even further back if we want to bring back a Hugh Jackman, or, you know, bring back some of the X-Men that are still alive in that universe. That could add up pretty quick. Will Bob Chapek still want to have these big event movies? And also, like, he hasn't sold anything off yet, but given his frugality, I wouldn't be surprised if he's looking at selling off certain assets. He hasn't yet, but looking at what's happening with Lightyear's box office, clearly this man does not care about Pixar. Lightyear is flopping for a lot of reasons, and it's not the one people always flock to, of just like, it's got this agenda. I don't think that has anything to do with it. It has a uber confusing marketing campaign that people, even that are diehard Toy Story fans, don't know how it connects to the Toy Story universe. And most importantly, you've conditioned us to not care about Pixar movies over the past 2 years. You have told us, not directly, but by your actions, that Pixar is quote-unquote lesser because you put Pixar directly to streaming. I am worried that soon Chapek will be like, either you deliver at the box office, not just for Pixar, for any Disney project, either you deliver first at the box office or you're going to streaming, because Chapek really likes streaming, and I'm worried that their theatrical output will diminish under his watch. Yeah, we'll still get the big tentpole Marvel stuff and whatever's going on with Taika Waititi's Star Wars. We'll get those, but other than that, I see a lot of it going to streaming, and I don't like that, especially, as we'll talk about later, the box office is healthy again. Healthier than it's been in a very long time. But Chapek will be like, well, you know, I like the revenue to come back to us because that means I get paid more and can rip more people off.
Yeah, I get worried. It is what it is. You know, he's going to do what he's going to do what he's going to do, and it's frustrating. And I'm just hoping that Star Wars and Marvel doesn't suffer because of it. Because, like, could you imagine? All right,
Kevin Feige works for David Zaslav at Warner Brothers Discovery.
Dude, just imagine if Kevin left and was like, and nobody at Marvel wanted to step up because of how Chapek just treats people. Like, imagine, like, we spend another year building the Secret Wars, and then all of it's just gone.
Oh, and then Kevin Feige and Jon Favreau do a Superman movie for Warner Brothers Discovery, starring Henry Cavill. Just give Chapek the biggest finger. Just go, nope. But I am also worried about Chapek continuing to burn talent bridges because, you know, he's not a people person, and you have to meet your talent halfway. You've got to work with them. Like, they were able to patch up the Scarlett Johansson stuff enough that I think she's back for the Haunted Mansion movie that they're working on. But besides that, like, you can't be the guy that definitively puts the hammer down for everything. You've got to be willing to be a little bit flexible. I know that's not in your nature, Bob, because you clearly listen to us, but, like, you've got to be willing to listen.
Imagine if we're the only podcast he listens to.
We're the only podcast he listens to.
Oh, boy.
So, this next one is kind of a weird story, but I'm kind of here for it. And that is Leigh Whannell, the director of the most recent The Invisible Man movie, will be helming a reboot of the Green Hornet and Kato for Universal Pictures. Which I'm going, oh, wow. So Universal doesn't really have any superheroes of their own that they can use, or do they? So it's just going, Green Hornet. Seth Rogen's busy working on Ninja Turtles, so Leigh Whannell. So that was a little too good there, Josh.
My good buddy Seth. I'm excited. I'm really excited for Timothy. Anyway, no, sorry, I was just doing the Seth Rogen laugh. You can keep going.
So initially people be like, okay, Leigh Whannell, The Invisible Man, but also, while I didn't love The Invisible Man, I point to another movie he did before The Invisible Man as, oh my gosh, yes, have this guy do the Green Hornet movie, and that's the best Venom movie ever made, called Upgrade. Upgrade is basically a guy that gets these quote-unquote enhancements, symbiote, and the enhancements more or less start to take over his body and he can't remember anything, symbiote. You never made that connection, Josh?
No, I mean, I kind of did, but it's really funny to think about in that context.
But did you see Upgrade?
I don't think I did, but I remember you seeing it and said it was really good, and I just haven't had a chance to check it out.
Yes, that Upgrade has great cinematography and action stunt work, so I'm going, yes, please. I think there's enough interesting potential here. It all depends on the cast. I don't hate the Green Hornet movie but the problem is it was so forgettable. Like, it's not good enough to be memorable. It's not bad enough to be lambasted forever. It's just one of those, like, oh yeah, I saw that. Like Aeon Flux. You remember it existing, but you don't remember seeing it, really.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Pulled that one out of nowhere.
Yeah.
So I think it all depends on who you cast as the Green Hornet and Kato, because as we all know, Kato's the one that, like, does all the work, and the Green Hornet is the one that pays the bills. I don't want to say you need kind of a vanilla Green Hornet, but you kind of need a guy that you can both like, but won't take away the attention from the clear and obvious choice to be Kato, Simu Liu,
Oh
aka
yeah,
Shang-Chi, because
let's go.
oh yeah, not just saying that because of his martial arts background. I think he's got more than enough charisma that I think he could be great for the role. Trying to think of who else would be good for this. I mean, if this was a few years ago and a few less, horrendous convictions later, maybe Army Hammer because he's bland white meat enough. But as we found out, he likes the white meat.
Anyway, you could kind of twist it a little bit and do somebody like make the Green Hornet a little on the older side. Maybe you could, and this is only because it's my guy Brendan Fraser. Do have like him be the Green Hornet with Simu as Kato.
So, Lionel got his start working alongside James Wan, the director of. They worked on Saw together. James Wan went on to do Insidious, The Conjuring, and Aquaman, all with this actor that I would absolutely go with for the Green Hornet, Patrick Wilson.
Oh, yeah, I like this idea of like the Green Hornet being a little bit older and not because like traditionally he's like this young upstart, he comes from a rich family and that's why he wants to make a difference, blah blah blah. But like having him kind of be older than Kato kind of like really works for me as well.
Or he always comes up whenever we talk about fan castings. Power Rangers and Aquaman's Ludi Lin. Cause he started to get into like prime of his career. I'm going, you've got some great hand-to-hand combat skills. Not that they were ever able to be showcased in Aquaman, but whatever.
Or really Power Rangers.
You mean he did all of his own stunts with that fantastic choreography that was Power Rangers?
I mean, in the one fight scene that happens
at the Krispy Kreme of all places.
Let's go Krispy Kreme, baby! Oh my gosh, yeah, Literally was good. It would be a good idea as well. Again, it kind of depends on the age of the Green Hornet that you pick.
So, next up, we've got a really good sign. Unless you're Bob Chapek or Universal, in which case you want to go out of your way to destroy the theatrical experience, but Top Gun Maverick is destroying everything right now. And honestly, I don't want to lean into hyperbole, but I'm gonna lean into hyperbole. Top Gun Maverick is the movie that's actually saving the theaters. Sorry, Christopher Nolan's Tenet. I still will laugh whenever he's like, this is the movie that's gonna save theaters in 2020. Top Gun Maverick is the movie that's actually doing that. And I say that because it's the first movie of 2022 to gross, not gross combined into one word, to gross over $1 billion at the worldwide box office. And it's making its way into the top 10 domestic movies of all time really quickly. But it's not just Top Gun. We had Top Gun in its 5th week tie Elvis in its first week. Not saying it's bad, but I'm just saying, really? In your first weekend, you tied with the movie in its 5th week, which I don't know if that's bad on Elvis's part or good on Top Gun's part. They tied at about $30 million. Jurassic World did well, I think like $26 million. Lightyear made some money. This weekend, we've got The Minions, The Rise of Gru, which is expected to make about $70 million. So I think that brought up a larger question that we probably could have made into a discussion, but I think it's just as good to make a news topic here. Do we think the box office is actually, quote unquote, back to normal, the 2019 and before era, or do we think there's still a little bit of hesitancy? I'm not typically one to jump the gun, but I think this safely secures that we are back. And it's nice to see a movie that is non-superhero related making $1 billion. And also, it brings me so much gratitude, not gratitude, brings me so much gratification, I guess, to see that Top Gun has now made more than Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. And I know some people are like, well, Doctor Strange didn't have certain markets. Yeah, neither did Top Gun. Top Gun didn't have all the key markets either. It's just, this movie has good word of mouth as opposed to the other one where people are like, it's a movie
It's
that
fine.
exists.
Yeah.
And I know some people will be like, well, this movie didn't do well, or this movie, like Lightyear, didn't do that well. I'm going, is that the box office's fault, or is that Lightyear and Disney's
Mhm.
fault? I think what people are expecting is like every movie that comes out now to do decent. I'm going, that wasn't the case even before 2019. Like, I think we are back to normal, but people just have
Yeah.
to remember, because I know 2020 and 2021 feels much longer, so you have to really cast your brain back. Not all movies are hits. So just because a movie post COVID doesn't do necessarily well doesn't mean the box office is still struggling. It's just that movie didn't necessarily do well. Like, we've had some flops this year. Firestarter probably is one of the biggest flops of the year. That made like what, $2 million opening weekend. Um, that to me just seems like a normal box office. Josh, you've seen not just Top Gun's results,
Mhm.
but a lot of box office for 2022 around this time, the past few months. Do you think the box office is 100% back to normal, or do you think we're not quite there yet?
I'm always going to be hesitant, especially just because of the events of the last couple of years, to be like confident and be like, "Yeah, we're 100% back to normal." Yeah. Um, However, I will say I think we're closer back to quote unquote normal than I think we have been in the past 2 years, as far as box office results. I think finally the market, I hate using that, but like the market is finally letting studios know which movies they're enjoying and which ones they're not, by using their dollar. It's a lot harder, I think. Stream this It is one of the things I think is a negative for streaming. It's a lot harder to kind of let companies let know your opinion of a movie if it's only on streaming, because there's not like a rating really. There's a thumbs up or a thumbs down, but like really like a 1 out of 5 stars or something like that would be more impactful, I think. But there's just not a way to kind of let studios know that this movie was a good idea, or we enjoyed it, or what have you. And Maverick is absolutely showing that like you don't have to do a superhero film. You don't have to lean too hard into nostalgia. You can literally take a property that has not been touched in multiple decades and just do something fresh and fun and thematically interesting with it, and people will enjoy it. I think just the simple fact of having Maverick not necessarily fully learn his lessons from the first movie, and us having to see a Tom Cruise who is really gone a long way as far as his acting ability since the first Top Gun movie. Um, really throw everything he has into it, and I just I know you and I were joking when they were like, "Oh yeah, it took so long because Tom required everybody to learn how to fly planes, blah blah blah." But like honestly, having seen the film now,
It added
yeah,
so
that oh
much.
my gosh, it added so much. I feel dumb for saying it now. You know what I mean?
But like, I feel like I've seen the clip over and over again when Tom is in the cockpit and it launches off the ship pad and he like does the full thud as he like clearly dismounts off the pad and is launching. I feel like I've
Yeah.
seen that clip, but every single time I'm just going, "Oh, that's cool," because you can clearly tell it's him. But I think Top Gun Maverick and the box office in 2022 especially is bringing up something that I think is arguably one of the most important elements to a movie success at the box office, and that is strong word of mouth. Word of mouth
Mhm.
in this, even in the social media age, word of mouth is the be all end all for movies. Like Top Gun had a pretty decent opening weekend, but it's these subsequent weeks that's really propelled it to the next level. It's the My Big Fat Greek Wedding effect, so to speak, of
Mhm.
like it's just keeps going. And I think certain movies this year that do have the legs are getting that positive word of mouth. Doctor Strange didn't have necessarily the strongest word of mouth. Say what you will about the movie, you can like it, you can dislike it, but people were kind of mixed on the reception. another one that I'm not just saying this because I'm biased towards the franchise. Critics hated Uncharted, but general audiences loved it. And that had really good legs because it had this really positive word of mouth from audiences. Same thing with, in some circles, Jurassic World Dominion. I have zero interest, so my family, could you please stop asking me when I'm going to go see this movie? It'll be when hell freezes over or when it comes on Peacock for free.
Hey, Nathan.
Did you see Dominion?
No, I just wanted to, hey, when are you going to see Dominion? When are you going to see it?
When this channel gets so big that I get paid to watch movies is when I'll watch Dominion.
So, I'll pay you to watch movies.
Second story to right straight on till never.
Oh man, but like I feel you though. Like I think finally, when I say the box office is back, I think for me anyway, I'm not going to sit here and just say just the money. I think finally, like, word of mouth is back, and the importance of your audience liking a movie, because guess what, guys, the audience is the one paying to see it, not the critics. So it is what it is, man. But I'm excited to see finally it feels like a summer blockbuster again. Like finally, I feel like we got our regular movies back.
So for our last news topic, we got weird stuff that I don't really know how to process. Madam Web is a movie that we're still kind of scratching our heads as to what exactly it is, but they're fleshing out the cast, and clearly they have a very specific goal in mind for Madam Web, and that goal is, let's just cast the most attractive actresses we can find, and then the story will kind of sort itself out from there. As the Sony people have brought on Emma Roberts to star in the film. We don't really know what the role yet is, but this now has Emma Roberts, Sydney Sweeney, and Isabella Merced, all very attractive young ladies that I'm pretty sure they're just going, so who all was making the Morbius memes? Are they all neckbeards? What do neckbeards like? We should just put a bunch of attractive ladies. That'll work. There is a theory that I saw, though, that I kind of really dig. And I think the first person I saw with this was 3C Films. Most of these women have somewhat of a general resemblance to each other. Not like a Zooey Deschanel and whoever that person is that looks like Zooey Deschanel. I should have just known that off the top. Like a Keira Knightley and a Natalie Portman. Like those guys they're clearly
very similar.
They're just variants from another universe. Oh, variants from another universe.
Stop.
Are all these women that have been cast so far, are they all Madam Webs, so to speak? Are they all different variants? And I'm going, I hope not, but it's an interesting idea because, if anything, Sony really, really loves to hop on whatever trend is currently hot. Whether it stays hot is another matter entirely. And what's hot right now? Variants. Oh, variants. They're so hot right now. Like,
yeah.
I'm worried that they're like, No Way Home was popular because we had 3 different Spider-Man. What if we had 4 different Madam Webs? You still don't know who she is? But there's 4 of them now. You should know who that is. Just because we offered more options on the dollar menu doesn't make the food better.
Jeez. But like, yeah, like it is like,
no offense to any of the actresses. That's so mean.
Dude, okay. Wow. But like, that is the thing though, is like, I think almost everybody, when they were like, yeah, Dakota Johnson is big cast as in the
Dakota Johnson too. She's attractive.
She's in this movie. In the Madam Web movie. And
50 Shades of Web.
All of us were like, who is what is this movie? And the cast keeps growing, and it's just all attractive women, and I don't know how to feel about it, because like a little bit of Google searching will tell you that like Madam Web is sketchy, all the time. She's a sketchy person.
She's not young.
So I don't know what's happening with this film other than like, all right, cool. Like, more work for these young actresses. Maybe they come into this movie and they kill it and they absolutely knock it out of the park. But if I'm quite honest here, if I can't trust Sony with a living vampire, I don't know if I can really trust them with another obscure character. I also apparently cannot trust them with Craven.
Yeah, let's talk about that very briefly. It doesn't need to be its own topic, but let's talk about that. Aaron Taylor Johnson, the man playing Craven the Hunter, opened up a little too much in an interview about the direction that Craven the Hunter will be taking in his standalone spin-off movie. And he said he's an animal conservationist. He really loves animals, to which I'm going,
what?
it's literally in his name, Craven the Hunter. What is he hunting? Twinkies? No, he hunts animals. He wants to be the top dog. He wants to be the big dog. Roman Reigns. No, he wants to. Roman Reigns is Craven, though.
Yeah, I'm down.
I'm better with that than Aaron Taylor Johnson. But that's like. That's like casting Darth Vader as a pacifist. It doesn't work.
It's like trying to say that like King Shark is a vegan. Like that just like what? That doesn't like
I'd be more on board for the comedic effect.
But like it doesn't compute at all. Like it doesn't make sense of like no, like you're taking something that's kind of very key to who the character is. Like it does like things that are for a character that do not matter.
The man literally wears
gender.
a flamboyant animal hide vest at all times. That's like his signature look. Like, no, he's not a hunter. He loves the animals. He's the Steve Irwin of the Spider-Man universe. Just don't ask him to hunt a stingray.
What if, and I'm not going to defend this at all because it's stupid. I will say, what if he's he's an animal conservationist, kind of like that guy in Tarzan that helps Jane and her father,
Clayton,
who's like, Clayton, who's like, so he like they think he's like, yeah, man, I'm just here to help you guys research animals. Yeah, absolutely. I'm not here for any other kind of shenanigans. And then obviously he is, but like if that's the angle they go with it, absolutely here for it.
No,
absolutely here.
Craven was raised by gorillas. And then one day, a giant tiger or giant leopard kills his mom. And so he goes on a hunt to kill that leopard and wears that leopard as a trophy of this killed my mom. And then at the end, it plays Two Worlds, One Family by Phil Collins. Surprise! It's a Tarzan live action adaptation.
Okay, but like I kind of like wouldn't mind Aaron Taylor Johnson as Tarzan, like at all. Like a young, but as long as he has a beard, it still doesn't make sense why he doesn't have a beard.
Yeah, why is Tarzan clean shaven?
Because he is in the book, apparently, which still makes no sense. But yeah, Craven's weird. The Madam Web's weird. I can't help but feel like they're still attempting to build to some form of a Sinister Six, and I just
a Sinister Six that has no connection to Spider-Man.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's the only thing that you don't need in the Sinister, because the Sinister Six isn't about Spider-Man, Nate. It's not. It's about villains getting together and working together.
Sinister Six is really about the friends that we made along the
way.
I'm worried that they want Sinister Six to be their version of Suicide Squad. They're not bad, just misunderstood anti-heroes. This man's name is literally the Hunter. That's like Dr. Death is secretly a doctor of medicine who stops death and hates death.
I hate it. No. It'd be like if Venom was like,
not connected at all to Spider-Man and doesn't have the white logo on his chest because he's never met Spider-Man.
Gosh, dude, I hate that like Venom has actually been turned into like a good anti. Like I'm behind him as an anti-hero, absolutely. But like, stop. Anti-heroes are not interesting, guys.
As per usual, this episode is sponsored by TeePublic, your one-stop shop for all things Uncharted Media merch, whether it's t-shirts, hoodies, stickers, notepads, whatever you want with the Uncharted Media logo or other fantastic designs. Go check it out on the store. Also, if you haven't already, subscribe to us on YouTube. Help us get to 700 subscribers before the end of the year so we can talk about some stuff.
Yeah, Darth Jar Jar, baby!
It's not gonna happen. And subscribe to us on whatever audio platform you're listening to us on. Now, let's see if we can leech off some of those Stranger Things headlines, shall we?
Yeah.
As we talk about Stranger Things, just general Stranger Things talk. I'm sure we'll focus mainly on season 4, but we'll just talk about the show in general. Just a quick ranking. In terms of worst to best, I think season 2 is by far the worst. Then season 3, and then season 1, and season 4 for me.
Ooh,
Don't get me wrong. I really love season 3, especially Dustin and Steve's dynamic. Like,
agreed.
My life is filled with joy every time I watch that clip of Dustin when he goes to the ice cream shop. Hey, is he here? Steve comes bursting out of the door.
Yes.
Henderson. And then Robin Robin with the best line of the whole show. How many kids are you friends with? You're just like,
you got the job. I got the job.
The only reason I put season 3 in that slot, and like it's all so close between season 3, 1, and 4, is I like the horror more for season 1 than season 3. Season 3,
That's
I think
fair. Okay.
Season 3 is the most lighthearted season, I think. And I love it because of it. But I really like the horror and the mystery of season 1. In retrospect, season 1 is probably so different than the rest of the show when it becomes really just big and grandiose in scale. But then the best season, obviously, is this current season. Now, we haven't seen the finale. They could absolutely crap the bed in Game of Thrones just in the finale and just be like, well, we're just going to kill off some of the random supporting characters, like Murray and that Russian guy that knows Hopper, and everyone else is fine. Like, completely play it too safe.
Yeah.
I don't suspect that'll be the case. But we'll talk about the finale, our predictions for that later. But this season has been so ridiculously
good.
strong.
God.
I know some people complain that there's like 1 or 2 storylines that aren't working for them, and for most people that's Hopper and Joyce's storyline with Murray and whatnot and Russia. If that's your weakest storyline, you're doing something right, because even that I don't really hate. But even before seeing the finale, I love how well the A and the B storylines come together. Because for a while there, you don't realize we're actually going parallel with the storyline. We think we're going all over the place. But in reality, we've been parallel this entire time without realizing it. We've had the horse blinder on. And then you get to that reveal, obviously spoiler alert, of who Vecna really is. And in that moment, I remember sitting there with my jaw on the floor going, that's the big missing piece. It's like looking at this puzzle, but you've only done the outside and the whole inside is just one big, huge piece. And you're going, that's the piece. And it all makes sense. It all brings it back perfectly. And also, as much as I don't like season 2, primarily because of that one annoying side tangent episode with 11, that in retrospect becomes a very important episode because it showed the other numbers. Now we've got Big Daddy, that is Vecna. I would not be surprised. I know they have said before that the Mind Flayer is the big bad of the Upside Down. Screw that. Vecna is way more terrifying and seemingly more powerful. I can absolutely see Vecna being the one in control. But Josh, general thoughts on the show, but more specifically season 4.
Oh, 4 is fantastic. I think for me, if I'm ranking them, it's definitely from worst to best, 2, 1, 3, and then 4. Just 3, I think for me, in caps, and part of it's just building off the top, off of 1 and 2, but like 3 for me is when I really started to fall in love with the kids, and like I already like loved and wanted to see more of them, but like Dustin and Steve's relationship, seeing Mike and Elle be awkward teenagers around each other the entire season. Annoying, but like at the same time was like I could be like, yeah, like I've totally been
Josh
there.
was an awkward, annoying teenager. I'm sure of it. As he's an awkward and annoying adult.
Oh, okay. Uh, but like it's one of my favorite characters is in season 3, and just like 4 though has turned out to be absolutely incredible. It is definitely leaning super hard into the horror vibes. Um,
Murder and mayhem is fun.
it's so good. Um, I like the character, even like some of the characters they just introduced this season are some of them like the ones that aren't, dead, obviously. But like Eddie, oh
I will
God,
die for Eddie.
I will.
Eddie is the
Oh,
best.
dude, I think my favorite thing right now with Eddie is like not Eddie bringing his drug lunchbox into school, and like it's because if you go back and watch the lunchroom scene, it's sitting right there next to him. So it's just, God, it's so cool. Like Eddie's so cool. I love seeing Dustin and Steve kind of evolve from the bestest of friends to still being oh, like no, like we're growing up and like stuff is changing. It's not just
It's
gonna stay the same.
it's less this season. It's less of Steve babysitting Dustin so much as it is a brothership and a partnership of like I
Mm-hmm.
think they see each other more as equals now, but Steve is like the slightly older brother that just wants
Yeah,
the little brother's respect, and the little brother's looks up to the big brother, but they'll never openly admit it. Um,
yeah,
which kind of creates a bro triangle, so to speak, with Eddie of just like, does Dustin love
yes,
Eddie more? Does he love Steve more? And I'm just going, I love you all, but one of the three of you is going to die in the finale. I'm sure of it.
yeah, yeah. There's a lot.
Unfortunately. Um,
Um, but like it's been a while since the show has literally left me like with my jaw just open from episode. I'm gonna start it at episode 3 on, just like what in the world?
and then,
Oh my gosh.
but you get to episode 4
Oh, dude,
with
absolutely.
Max, which I had heard going into it of just like people are like, wow, episode 4, episode 4. I hadn't heard anything specific. I had just heard episode 4 is good, and Sadie Sink, the actress that plays Max, would probably be up for an Emmy afterwards. I'm just going, all right, I don't really care about Max. After watching episode 4, Vecna, if you touch a hair on
Oh,
Max's
oh,
head,
dude, yes.
we will all come for you, because throughout that episode, it was masterful storytelling of after you watch a certain amount of movies and TV shows, you know the I'm going to die cliches. I was this close away from retirement, or I've got a family waiting for me back home, or I'm the newest of the group. I hope nothing bad happens to me. Like,
Yeah.
you know the cliches of a character that's going to die. They were pounding those cliches into your head for Max all of episode 4 of writing the goodbye notes to her friends, just like she's kind of resigned herself to, well, I've screwed up in life. I'm going to die. To the point of when she gets trapped, you're just like, oh, they're just dragging this out because they want it to hurt as much as possible. It's that tension. You just pull it tighter and tighter, and it just makes it so much worse. And then they start playing the music, and she cuts part of Vecna's neck. I stood up and cheered off my sofa. I got so excited. But in the back of my mind, I'm going, balls, that didn't immediately get her out, though. As you see this like football field that she's got to run down, and I'm just
Dude.
going, oh no, it's a wrestling match. You just gave the hero the hope spot, but you're still gonna have the bad guy squash them in the end after giving you just that little bit of hope. So that whole time, she's running, you're just going, oh, she's gonna die right at the goal line. Like they're gonna give us that little bit of hope that she survives, and then squash it. So you're holding your breath the entire time, and she makes it through, and everyone in the world just breathes a sigh of relief together, going,
Bro.
holy emotions, Batman! That's how you
Dude.
do compelling narrative.
God, when she's like crumpled there and she's like, I'm here, I'm still here. I legit cried. I was like, yeah, you are. Okay. I'm so man. Like, and then like that's like not even like that's the benchmark of the season now. And like every episode after that hitting hard. And like, gosh, to the point with the with episode 7, with the way that it ends, you go like instantly as soon as it was like, oh no, he's coming after Nancy now. I was like,
Which,
why?
thanks trailers for spoiling that she's
Oh
alive.
yeah, appreciate that. But like also, God, I was like, finally she's gonna have to deal with this. Yes, absolutely. Because it was like
Which,
one of the few things left over from season one that Nancy never really had to deal with, and really the story hadn't really acknowledged at all. And I just, I love some of the theories that are coming because of that reveal, because that Vecna knows that about her. Um, I enjoy a lot of the stuff that's coming from the show right now, and I'm excited to see these finales of season four. Um, yeah, I just gosh, dude, it's gonna be an intense couple episodes.
speaking of Nancy, that is one character that to me has almost like completely turned it around in season 4. I
Mm-hmm.
liked her decently enough in the first season, and then it became the screw you go to hell in season 2 when we do that excellent double turn with her and Steve, of Steve
Mm-hmm.
more or less being the douchebag tool and Nancy being the good guy. And then the party happens in season 2
Mm-hmm.
and Nancy's the douchebag and Steve is the I will die as the most gloriously frolicked babysitter in history.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, Steve and Dustin single-handedly saved the character of Steve going forward. But for a while there, I've hated to slowly grow to like Nancy again. And I think, like Steve being paired with Dustin saved the character of Steve, Nancy being paired with Robin has saved the character of Nancy for me.
Oh,
Robin,
absolutely.
Robin, Dwayne The Rock Johnson often gets called franchise Viagra. Robin is character Viagra. Whoever she is working with, she makes so much better. Steve is great by himself, but put Steve and Robin together, oh, it's perfect. Put Steve, Robin, and Dustin together,
Dude.
I will. Those guys are literally the perfect combination. But then put Robin with Nancy, and she loosens up a little bit. She becomes more fun. Robin makes everyone more fun, which makes me not happy that maybe she might die. Anyone's a suspect right now. Anyone can die except for Max. I think Max is probably the safest bet because you got that close to death before, so
Mm-hmm.
it typically means you're
Bro.
not going to get that close again.
Yeah, I'll get oh jeez. The well, the guy that got his head smashed in Walking Dead.
Oh,
Oh, you know what I'm
um,
talking about?
yeah, Glenn.
I can't remember. Glenn. Literally 2 episodes before that, they gave us a fake out death. And I was like, oh, okay.
Yep.
And because of that, for me personally, him dying literally 2 episodes later didn't feel a thing. Um, so I hope it's not Max, because that would kind of defeat some of the victory of episode 4. But yeah, Robin's fantastic. I think one of the things I've appreciated so much is the series and how it deals with the topic of homosexuality. The fact that Steve does not out Robin at all.
Once she says
Period.
it, he's confused, and then immediately it's just like, you could do so much better. Like, ew. Like,
Yeah.
I love that he doesn't pay attention at all. And also,
Yes.
I think one of my favorite scenes has to be when they're driving to, what is it, work together.
Yes.
I like boobies. You like boobies. We all like boobies. And I'm like,
I just like, oh,
that's a bro
it's
right
so
there.
good.
So we'll do full predictions for the finale a little bit later.
Mhm.
But I think right now, let's look at all the characters we've got currently and go with a survive or die situation here. Of
Oh gosh.
we know
Okay. Out of the finale.
yeah, we know according to the Duffer Brothers, there's going to be a quote unquote body count. So some people gonna die. And obviously, people have died in the past with Stranger Things. Barb, which I still don't get why people care about that so much. She was only in one episode before she died. Bob,
Yeah.
Barb, oh, what was his Red Power Ranger? What was his name? Billy.
Billy.
So
Gosh,
there's a
heartbreaking.
precedent for it.
Gosh.
But also, like Infinity War, you've got to knock your heroes down a few pegs before they can ultimately win the day. So people are going to lose. 11. Pretty confident saying she will survive.
Yep.
I think she's needed. That being said, she will lose and lose badly in the finale. Like, potentially almost die. But I don't think will die.
No, yeah, I think she's good, yeah.
Both the scientists from the lab, Dr. Brenner and the other one, what do you think? Live or die?
Oh, I think Dad dies. I kind of,
Dr.
part
Brenner?
of that, it's like,
Papa?
yeah, I hope Papa dies. Like, I genuinely do. He's like, no matter how, like, he makes some really great points, but he's still like a terrible human being. So,
Knowing
like,
how the show works, though, I can see him dying and we still feel bad about it somehow.
God, don't not.
But also, like, if Papa dies, 11 has no guidance or teacher anymore. So it's just like it'd be like if Yoda died in between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. Like,
okay, but with that being said, in the trailer did you not get Star Wars vibes when he's like, you're not ready, and she's like, well, but my friends are in trouble, I have to go save them. I was like,
yep.
Oh, yep. So got it. Empire Strikes Back, got it. So, but I think I wouldn't be surprised if Papa dies, and they'll still make us feel bad about it. I think the other guy's safe though. I think he's kind of
the good cop.
Yeah, I think he's kind of played his role as far as what he needs to do. I think honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see him again.
Okay, so then I'm just looking down the list. We've got Mike. I don't guarantee his safety, actually.
Yeah,
I feel like 75% sure that Mike will survive.
Yeah,
that being said, what an emotional gut punch for 11 if, like, Mike gets all the way to rescue her and Vecna kills Mike. Like,
or even for Will at this point, because we haven't like really talked about the possibility of Will finally confessing some things.
I think will absolutely survive, but we'll talk about this later in predictions. I don't think it's good roads ahead for Will.
No, absolutely not.
Dustin, you touch a hair on that child's head, you die.
We riot.
I genuinely will stop watching Stranger Things if anything happens to Dustin. Dustin is a perfect angel. Do not touch Gaten Matarazzo. Tom Holland needs to learn from Gaten because Gaten can keep his mouth shut in interviews. Do not touch Dustin. Dustin is perfect. Lucas, feel pretty safe that Lucas is safe. Why do you think Lucas is in danger?
I can totally see a possibility. I can see a possibility of Vecna telling Max, if I can't have you, I'll take him. And I don't know, because he's going after Nancy. So
I don't think Vecna's got enough of a connection to Lucas. Like Lucas and his sister are just kind of there. If we could kill anybody on the show right now, could we kill Mike's dad? He's just
yes. Oh my gosh, yes.
He's just there. He's just a dick. Like, can we kill him?
He fills me with so much anger of like
he doesn't even do anything. He just exists, and I hate him.
Oh, he's just like the internet troll and all of us, and that's exactly why he'll stay alive the entire show. I'm so mad. No. Okay, but Lucas, I think a lot like Mike, I'm like 75% sure that he'll survive and be there at the end of season 4. But I don't know. I think he's kind of, him and his sister, kind of the last people. Not even his sister. His sister's great. But I think Lucas is kind of the last one to kind of not get an in-depth story thing. I mean, maybe like you can count the thing where he's like, oh, I don't want to be a nerd, but these guys are my friends, so I have to be there for them. So I don't know. We'll see.
Max, I think Max is totally safe, like we talked about before, because you don't get that close to dying only for them to just kill you off in the very next episode.
Yeah.
Hopper, No, again, for the same reasons with Max, you can't fake a death, only just immediately kill them next season. Also, with him being so far away from the action, there's got to be that reunion before anything happens to Hopper, if anything at all.
Oh my gosh.
Dude, can you imagine?
I will cry.
No,
I'm not even going to lie.
If 11 has to watch Mike die, and at her lowest point, who comes in the door but Hopper to help pick up the pieces?
Oh my gosh.
Like that, talk about emotional roller coaster right there. Or just the finale. None of the main people die, but Hopper comes back, and just we end with 11 back with her real papa, with Hopper ready to fight a Vecna who might be more powerful than ever. Okay, here's where we're gonna get into the really I'm nervous section. Steve. The only way I will not be concerned about Steve dying is when Stranger Things is actually 100% done and over with. And until then, I live in constant fear that Steve is going to die because Steve is the best. Dustin will always be my favorite. For a while there, it was, who do I like more, Steve or Dustin? And then Dustin had to go and say the greatest joke in human history with the Watergate joke.
No, it's not good. It's not good.
It's perfect because he says it and then just sits on it because he knows it's such a good joke. And I'm going, Dustin, you know how to do it. Dustin will always be better than Steve. I live in constant fear that Steve is going to die because he's the one that makes the most sense. He is the Agent Coulson of Stranger Things, so to speak, he genuinely has a connection to just about everyone on the cast that pull that Jenga piece out and everything can come crumbling down. And also, he is a fan favorite. People will bawl their frickin' eyes out if Steve dies.
Yes. So, and that the other piece to this is, I think to me kind of tips their hat a little bit in that direction, is that they've been kind of been like, yeah, Nancy and Steve might get back together, guys. Like they've always been perfect for each other, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, but so then we're just gonna just ignore her relationship that's kind of technically still on with, I always feel bad,
Jonathan.
but I forget his name. Jonathan. With Jonathan, like, see, that just feels weird. And to me, like, if he can't come in between them again. So either Jonathan dies or Steve dies to me.
Or
you can't have both.
Or Nancy dies.
I mean, yeah, I guess. Yeah,
because she's got connections to the smaller kids with Mike, obviously. Steve takes care of that love triangle if there is no woman there to fight over. I don't feel as worried that she will die because, again, we see her getting trapped by Vecna. But the trailers clearly show that she'll be around for the final 2 episodes. So I don't know how I fall into that fake out death section. But it's a 50-50 one. I'll go 50-50 on Nancy dying. I think the odds are higher that Nancy dies than people want to think, but I don't think she's one of the prime contenders. Jonathan,
I agree.
I see him surviving because he's so far away from the action currently, along with Mike and Will, and honestly a character that's rapidly growing on me very quickly with Argyle. Dude. Argyle is so funny. Like, I don't know what it is, but Jonathan has really downgraded as a character ever since he became a stoner. I just don't think he's that funny. But Argyle, oh my gosh, I will still bust a gut every single time they're having dinner with everyone and Murray made the risotto and she's like, this is bomb risotto, Murray. Thanks. I still don't know who you are. Argyle is the best. I love Argyle.
I think my favorite Argyle bit is when he answers the phone and he's like, try the pineapple on a pizza. It does come from a can, unlike everything else we have here, but I will say, try before you deny. Hello? Like, that is so, it's like, and it's the most like 80s thing where he's like flipping a yo-yo and like, come on, bro. Like, that's so great. I love it.
Oh, we talked this much about Stranger Things, well, not mentioning the greatest bit of news for this show, period. Family Video is where Steve and Robin work
Dude,
at, and it just makes me so
love
happy.
that.
But having been to Family Video more often than most humans should ever go to Family Video, I kept watching it going, that's a very, very tiny Family Video. Like,
Yes, it
it's
is.
like a third of the size that we went to. But
Oh yeah.
that aside, let's keep going down the list. Joyce. Again,
Yeah, pretty
she's
safe.
pretty safe. Like, her and the rest of them, I think, are too far detached. That being said, I don't think all of them are safe. Billy, already dead. You can't die
Already dead.
again.
Yeah.
Robin, high risk. I think Robin is a very high risk character, unfortunately. I really like Robin and have since she was first introduced in season 3, which again, the more you like a character, the more it's dangerous that they're going to die. If your character is a dick, that means they last for a long time, unless it's Billy, in which case, a season and then bye-bye. Robin, I'm very concerned about, because Nancy has become friends with Robin. It's, besides Dustin, it's Steve's best friend. But like the Max argument of why I thought Max could have died in the Upside Down via Vecna, Robin is still one of the newer members of the group. So you technically have quote-unquote less attachment to them because they're still newer, so you can kill off the quote-unquote new guy. I'm worried also because in the finale trailer, Robin says something about, like, I have a bad feeling that we're not going to come back this time. And then it cuts to Steve, and I'm going, you make me think Steve is going to die. But what if Steve is about to die, and then Robin is the one that, in Avengers Speaks, is the one to lay down on the wire or lay down on the grenade, so to speak, for her friend and nothing more, Steve. Like, those two are really close. Or what if she dies for Nancy? Because the show kind of implies that she might like Nancy as well.
A little bit, yeah.
But I don't even think she's sure about how she feels about Nancy, but, like, she wants to be friends in that situation. Robin is another one that I'm concerned about. Any of, like, the
absolutely.
really fan favorite characters, I'm very much worried about.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think I worry about Robin just because of what she means to Steve, what she means to Dustin at this point, who Steve and Dustin are basically the core of the show. Like, 11 might be a quote unquote main character, but the show's about Steve and Dustin. But, like, yeah, we'll see. Because I can totally see Robin having, like, this emotional speech at the end. I'm very worried about losing Robin. I'm not emotionally ready for it at all.
So then we have the Wheeler's mom, Karen. Pretty safe.
She's pretty fine. She's fine. I mean, she is fine.
Yeah. You've got Lucas's little sister, Erica.
She's pretty okay.
Yeah, not involved enough in the action. However, if Eddie dies, that's going to hit her hard because she was the last one to join Hellfire Club, which I need that Hellfire Club shirt.
That's such a cool shirt.
We get to my first I'm very confident pick. Murray, the bearded guy from Go On, Brett Gelman. This is a character that while I enjoy, if they were killed off, I don't think a lot of the narrative changes. And also, from a story perspective, his mission is kind of done. He got Joyce and Hopper back together. You don't need to know Russian when you're already in a Russian group with another Russian character and all your characters are all together in one spot. Makes him kind of disposable. He was there to give exposition or give the characters clues, but now that we're kind of in the end game, is he still needed, so to speak? He's the one that I feel confident if they're going to kill off anybody, it's going to be him. Dr. Owens was the nice doctor. I think we said not particularly a high chance that he dies.
Yeah.
It gave me a list of, like, all the cast across all the seasons, and it just shows Alexei, and I'm going, Alexei comes back from the dead and kicks Vecna in the balls and wins the day for everyone. Goes home and has a Slurpee.
Oh my god. Okay, real quick, like, Alexei I think might be one of my favorite characters over the entire show. Period.
Yes.
Alexei is just he was so great. I'm so sad that he didn't survive.
All he wanted was a Slurpee, gosh dang it.
All he wanted, man. Oh, his little grin when he got one. Oh, anyway.
Okay, so we get to my next I am pretty confident.
Yeah.
Not as confident about Murray, but pretty confident Eddie is going to die, unfortunately.
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
every season, like we said, you've got Barb, you've got Bob, you've got Billy, all the B names, apparently, of people that die. You've got the character that people really, really like. They just can't stick around. People really, really resonate with Eddie. And they kind of have already set up his story to die. Because from the get-go, when we first meet him, he's like, I'm a loner. I kind of do things my own way. If there's any danger, I run away from it for my own self-preservation. I'm going, huh? Do you smell that? It smells like foreshadowing to me. But also, the trailers have given it away already. Even the very, very first trailer when it like was actually coming back for the first half of season 4, it shows him playing a guitar on top of like a van or something in the Upside Down. I'm going, he's gonna buy his friends some time and be a distraction, isn't he? I don't.
Which is like the most Crow thing I've ever seen. Oh my god! And I love the theories of what songs he's playing. Somebody's like
the final countdown.
I will die.
Okay. Also,
I will die.
Quick side tangent. The reason I haven't been watching a lot of stuff recently is I've been playing and I finished the Guardians of the Galaxy game. Dude, when you get the money, buy it. It's so good. Like, there's moments that tugged on my heartstrings just as much as the Spider-Man game.
Interesting.
Mild spoilers, but all the characters see illusions of like what they could have someday. And so they literally have to rip Drax away from his family again and make him choose between a happy life that doesn't exist or his new family. And I bring that up because the final boss, you fight him while the final countdown is blasting, and I'm going, this is dumb and I love it. But no, the Guardians of the Galaxy game was great. But yes, I could see the final countdown.
I could see something like a little bit more metal. Yeah. Like something from Led Zeppelin or something like that. Like, I could totally see that. But yeah, like, gosh, I hate it, but they have absolutely set up foreshadowing for Eddie to die, especially even that conversation between him and Steve of like, look, like, you don't understand, like, you're the brave one. He literally calls himself a coward. And I can totally see that conversation between him and Steve of like, no, like, let me buy some time. Let me have this final opportunity to kind of show that I'm braver than the circumstances in front of me.
Let Dustin look up to me for once. And then, like, you can get those, like, evil, like, demon bat things to come after him, and he starts using the guitar as a weapon instead, like, Last Stand type. Oh, I'm not ready for that scene. You know when that scene comes on, it's going to be epic. Susie? Really? You're gonna kill Susie? I don't think so.
Yeah, you leave her out of this, man.
Vecna ain't dying yet. No. I think we'll get into our predictions later, but I think Vecna's got a much bigger plan in play. Chrissy is already dead. Barb's already dead. Victor Creel, Robert Englund's character.
I think he's just gonna die of old age.
I think his son comes back and kills him.
Oh, that's right, because technically he is his son. Oh, I forgot about that. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Also, love the nod that they got England to do it. That's fantastic. I just loved that.
Yeah, I'm literally the father of a monster that kills people in their nightmares.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
It's great.
That's fantastic.
But yeah, I'll have more to say about that later. Who's Tina? Oh, is Tina one of the bullies? No, I don't remember now.
Maybe, I don't know. I think it's somebody. It's some side character over in
Ted. We already said we don't think he's gonna die, but we want Ted to die. Ted can die. That's fine. Imagine though if Ted has a redeeming moment of like the house is under attack and he's just like actually stands up from his couch. It's time to protect my family. Then immediately gets eviscerated, but it's the thought that counts.
No. I want him to get the most painful death in the entire show. I do not care. I do not care for Ted at all.
Okay. And then lastly for the list that I think we should go over, and it's my last definitive, put it in the books, start digging the grave, make the tombstone, Dmitri, Hopper's Russian friend.
Oh yeah, he's dead.
This dude's.
Absolutely.
I'm actually surprised he's not dead already. Like, once the
Yeah.
Demogorgon was unleashed in the prison, how is that dude not dead yet? But besides that, I think it's like a lot of supporting characters. I don't think there's any ones that we missed. I'm sure you guys will let us know in the comments. But Josh, wrapping up to the finale. What are your bold thoughts for the finale, but also the direction for season 5?
Okay. So obviously I think Nancy gets out. We're fine. All right, fine, whatever. I'll be very curious though as to how she gets out away from Vecna. I'd be curious if that's not the thing that kills Steve, is that he goes in and tries to save her and gets in the way. Um, I I think 11 is not going to be involved in at all in those last 2 episodes as far as like the fight against Vecna. I think they are saving that for season 5. Um, Eddie I can totally see them killing Eddie off, unfortunately. The thing that's going to be interesting, and I think it's teased in the trailer, is I think will finally come out to Mike.
I don't think he comes out to Mike. I think he comes out to Jonathan.
I think
he comes out to his brother more than anything.
I'm okay, and see I'm way more okay with that, because Mike as a character, I'm extremely worried as to how he would react to Will finally coming out to him, especially if it's involves him seeing whatever Will has painted for him. The thing that will be interesting, I think that will be finally like confirmed or revealed or whatever, that Vecna was behind taking Will in the first place in the first season. I'm kind of on that train. I've seen that theory floating around, and I'm definitely getting on that train. I think the end of season 4 and all of season 5 will show that the Mind Flayer, Will, the events of season 2, everything will be tied back to Vecna as the big bad, and not as some other big like the Mind Flayer or something like that. All of those, I'm saying now, and this will probably only be hinted at in these episodes, or it won't even be touched until the next season. I'm predicting that Vecna, all of the stuff that has come through from the Upside Down, is all Vecna trying to get to the other side again.
I am 100% with you on. I think Vecna is actually the big bad of the show.
Yeah.
Like, they can tell us the Mind Flayer is the one in charge of the Upside Down or whatever. I can absolutely see Vecna absorbing the Mind Flayer's powers, or even merging with the Mind Flayer to be someone of that size, but having the powers of Vecna. I'm on the fence about whether I think Will if Will was always under Vecna's watch, or if Will will turn bad for the final season, because some people have pointed out very similar dialogue to Vecna's origin and dialogue that's been said about Will specifically, and they're almost verbatim of like, my family forgot about me, like I was always viewed as like the good, quiet, weird kid, which I'm going, what? But Will, I was about to say, Will has not been shown to have any powers, but he does always have some form of a connection to the Upside Down, so that could be interesting.
Yeah, I can totally see that though, but like I don't know if I want to go as far as make this beloved character, maybe not beloved, but make this character who has been a core to the story turn bad for the final movie. To me, I see that as a moment of being like, look, we at one point we were the same thing, and look how different we turned out. Like, this is like, what you were doing is not the, like, that doesn't have to be the end. That doesn't have to be the outcome. Like, you can be something else. but that maybe that's just me trying to be positive because I don't really want Will to die, but
I don't
the
see him
body
dying.
bags.
Get him a body bag.
Get him a body bag.
What else you got? Because I have one really big one, but that pertains mainly to the direction of season 5 more than anything else.
Yeah, absolutely. To me, I think they're saving 11 to meet Vecna until season 5. I don't think they're gonna she'll even make it to Hawk, or she might make it to Hawkins by the end. Excuse me. Geez. I could even say that I think they're going to save the reunion of 11 and Hopper to season 5, because that feels like a finale moment to me. But yeah, no, yeah, that's kind of all that I put together a little bit. I think we've kind of agree on who we think's going to be kicking the bucket and who's not. I'm going to be absolutely heartbroken if it's a lot more than we think it's going to be.
But I'll be okay if it is, because
absolutely,
steaks are good.
Yes, absolutely. I prefer my medium rare, but also story steaks are great.
I think my final predictions, I think Eddie and Robin will be the two big hard deaths. But for overarching thing, I'm going to save my biggest for last. I think the season ends and sets the stage up for season 5 of Vecna comes through the portal at Hawkins' lab and comes to Earth, and the Upside Down and Hawkins merge.
I can see that.
I think both worlds collide, and Vecna begins his rule over Earth, basically, and Hawkins is the center point. Hawkins is the center point, and everything branches out from there, setting up for season 5 of, oh god, everything's going bad, and he's taking over the world, and he obviously will be the one in charge, not the Mind Flayer. I think Vecna and 11 will fight in the finale.
Yeah.
And 11 will get bodied. Badly. To the point of, I think she and the rest of the crew lose so badly that we're going to need a lot of time to recover, also known as several year time gap.
Interesting.
I don't know if we can get away with several years, but a long time between Vecna taking over Hawkins and the surrounding areas to when they actually had the full strength to actually finally be able to beat him, so to speak. I could see the Upside Down and our world not being two separate entities anymore. They are, it's an incursion, so to speak, from Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
They're both struggling to exist in the same universe, and that potentially could destroy them both.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the question I've just kind of hit me in the head is, did the Upside Down get shaped because Vecna was there? Did Vecna shape the Upside Down into what it is, or was
it always there?
Always there because of whenever 11 puts him there basically. It looks nothing like the Upside Down that we know. So I'm very, very curious if they're going to kind of reveal, because they've already kind of posed the question of how long has it been there? Has it always been there? And what exactly the Upside Down is and where it comes from. Because I think if you're going to have an incursion, yes, the creatures are already scary, but I feel like at some point you have to kind of explain what this space is, where these creatures come from and stuff like that, in order to really make it kind of terrifying that, these things definitely should not come to our space.
I can also see if Vecna is taking over our world, him closing the portal to everything and trapping some of our characters there, because gosh, Stranger Things loves to trap certain characters in the Upside Down and pretend that they're never going to come back.
Yep.
I could absolutely see that happening, of maybe Eddie and Robin or some other people die, and Steve and Nancy are stuck in the Upside Down for a while, or stuck in limbo, so to speak, until next season. I think there's a lot of interesting directions for this finale, and I'm super amped to see what they bring to the table. They just need to nail the landing. They've really knocked it out of the park with this season so far. The show in general, I really, really love, but season 4 has. I didn't know how it would be because it had been such a long break between season 1, season 3, and season 4. But clearly, the time away only made for a better story and better script, so I cannot complain in the slightest. Yeah, I'm ready for this finale. Josh, any last minute thoughts on the finale or
Nah,
season
dude,
5?
I'm super excited. It might be one of those things that I probably won't get to watch it in day of, but I
Stay off social
will.
media.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to stay off social media and actually have to. I might try to make it like an event for myself,
That's
but
what
like
Heather and I are doing. We're getting pizza and everything else.
yeah,
Staying
so
in.
we'll see. We'll see what happens, but I'm super excited. I might and go back and watch like episode 6 and 7 just to kind of build
I
into
will,
it.
just for a
But
refresher.
yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I'm super excited for it. I'm excited that this show is going to have a definitive end in season 5. I
Before we
think
get
it's
spin-offs.
yay, but like I'm excited that a show recognizes like no, like we have a story and we want to have a stopping point. We're not just gonna go till we die, kind of thing. Well, technically,
Yeah, Walking Dead.
yeah, hate that show.
Well, what do you guys think? Are you excited for Stranger Things finale? Or kind of about Stranger Things? If so, what's wrong with you? What are your predictions for season 5? Let us know in the comments below. It was like hearing from you guys. And as always, if you like what you hear and you want to hear more, subscribe to us on whatever audio platform you're listening to it's on, whether it's iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts, YouTube. And if you haven't already, subscribe to us on YouTube at Uncharted Media. Help us get to 700 subscribers before the end of the year. And as always, stay sharp, movie guys and gals.